Mike, I understand Town Hall is open. Take us through the thought process of when you decided to open and what are some of the restrictions?
All right, a couple different things that applied as we considered the reopening in the current level where we're at, and the restrictions on what's open, what's not open. We began to monitor the numbers and see how they were tracking here in North Attleboro, working very closely with the health director, and we saw our numbers slow down, and then they've petered out a little bit now. And so as you stretch that over time, we saw that we were flattening the curve and we had that downward trend. They're also monitoring what's happening at the State House in the Commonwealth to make sure that we're tracking along with what the requirements that the governor is putting into place and what his phases are for reopening the state. So we took all of that into consideration and made the decision to reopen the town facilities in Town Hall by appointment only. A majority of our workforce had been working remotely or in staggered shifts. Now we've changed that to staggered shifts here inside of Town Hall. What we've done is offset employees to come in on different days. If you're in the office, you're working, answering the phones and dealing with appointments only. So you will schedule those appointments, and then those employees that are not in the office, they're working in remotely from home and supporting. It's important to call the department you'd like to get a hold of. We put out some new signage here at Town Hall that reflect the different most commonly called phone numbers. Reach out to them, schedule an appointment. They'll meet you here at the door. You arrive here, call the department again, let them know you're here. They'll come down, they'll let you in. Wear a mask, right? So if you're here in Town Hall, we're asking you to wear a mask. Our employees, while they're working with you, they'll wear a mask as well. If there's any transaction that needs to take place, they'll do that. We'll have gloves. If you forget a mask, we'll do our best to get you one. We've got a couple extra on hand right now, and we want to be able to provide all the services. So we're seeing that and watching that as we brought all of our employees back, on this staggered shift and remotely, and how it's going. So we've had, some departments, have had more calls than others, but we're glad to see it and we're glad to be back at this stage right now.
Are all the departments here at 43 South Washington Street, are all the windows open?
All the windows are open. You may have, when you call, right, they may open the window up. Some have kept it down just as an extra layer of protection, but every department's open.
Very good. Any idea when things might get back to the way they might, where you won't need an appointment?
Well, as we're approaching that new normal, right, what we're thinking that sometime in either late June, maybe early July, depending on how the numbers still go, and we're very positive that it's moving that way, that you'll be able to come to Town Hall without an appointment. But we'll still enforce that and ask you to adhere to the mask and the social distancing while you're here. We're working on making sure we get all our tape lines and marks on the floors, directional staircases, one person in an elevator at a time right now while you're at Town Hall. But I think sometime around the end of June, first part of July, we'll move into that first phase. It's interesting that, as we follow along with the governor and what the state's putting out, it takes us a day or two to assess and then implement as well. So if we're trailing the state when they say, hey, everything's opened up, it's because we may need to put resources in place, do the proper training, and make sure everybody's, got all the equipment that they need to be able to do this. So we just ask people that if you have a question, call first. If you can do it online, do it online. But if you need to come in, we'll work it out, we'll figure it out, and make sure you get taken care of.